Hello and welcome. Today we're uncovering the story of a woman who rejected all men, but there's a powerful reason behind her choice. It's a journey of heartbreak, self-discovery, and ultimate triumph. Stay tuned to find out what drove her to say no and how she found her true strength. Nandi Mkhize grew up in Ulundi, a lively community nestled in KwaZulu-Natal. Her parents, Thandi and Sifo, were hardworking and deeply loving, instilling values of kindness and resilience in their only child. Thandi, a school teacher, often reminded Nandi that her worth wasn't tied to appearances, while Sifo, a mechanic, encouraged her to pursue her dreams. Despite her parents' affirmations, Nandi's childhood was marked by the relentless judgment of the outside world. At school, she was often the butt of cruel jokes about her weight. Classmates called her names like Mammoth and Hippo, and even some teachers, well-meaning but tactless, would tell her to watch her diet. One of the few places Nandi felt safe was her home, where her grandmother, Gogo Nonhale, would tell her stories of powerful Zulu women who overcame great challenges. Gogo Nonhale would say, "Strength is not in how you look, but in what you endure and conquer." Nandi clung to these words, though they felt distant from her daily reality. Her teenage years brought an agonizing twist. She developed a crush on Siyanda Dlamini, the charming soccer star of her school. Siyanda had an easy smile and a laugh that lit up a room. Nandi dreamed of talking to him, imagining that he might see her for who she truly was, but her hopes were shattered when she overheard Siyanda and his friends laughing about her weight. One of them joked that if Nandi danced, the ground would shake. At the school dance, Nandi, dressed in her best outfit and armed with shaky courage, tried to approach Siyanda. Before she could speak, he made an offhand joke loud enough for others to hear. "Careful, the floor might crack." Laughter erupted and Nandi fled in tears. That night, she vowed never to let anyone see her vulnerability again. Years later, Nandi was living in Durban, working as a receptionist at a prestigious law firm. She had built a quiet, stable life, but her insecurities lingered. At the office, she often felt invisible. Her colleagues were polite but distant, rarely including her in after-work gatherings or acknowledging her efforts. Despite this, Nandi excelled at her job. Clients often praised her organization and warmth, though these compliments rarely reached her bosses. One of them, Lungandaba, was a charismatic but aloof lawyer. He was ambitious, confident, and unapologetically charming, the kind of man who turned heads wherever he went. Nandi admired his intellect and secretly harbored a crush on him, even though she knew better than to hope for anything. At the firm's end-of-year party, Nandi decided to step out of her comfort zone. She wore a striking dress that flattered her figure and styled her hair with care. For once, she wanted to blend in with her glamorous colleagues. Gathering her courage, she approached Lunga to discuss a project she'd been managing. Before she could finish, he brushed her off. "This isn't the time for admin talk, Nandi," he said curtly before walking away. Later that evening, Nandi overheard Lunga laughing with a colleague. "She's practically invisible in a crowd," he said, unaware that Nandi was within earshot. The words echoed painfully, reminding her of Siyanda and every rejection she'd faced. On her way home, tears blurring her vision, Nandi got into a minor car accident. Panicked and shaken, she was helped by a kind stranger named Ayanda Nkosi, who stopped to ensure she was okay. Ayanda, a fitness trainer, was warm and encouraging. "You're stronger than you think," he said as he helped her call for assistance. His kindness, though brief, planted a small seed of hope in Nandi's heart. The accident was a turning point for Nandi. That weekend, she stayed in her apartment, reflecting on her life. As she stared at herself in the mirror, she realized how much power she had given others to define her worth. Images of Sianda, Lunga, and even the cruel classmates from her past flashed through her mind. But then she thought of Ayanda's smile and his words, "You're stronger than you think." Determined to reclaim her life, Nandi began researching gyms in Durban. She found a fitness studio offering free consultations and decided to sign up. To her surprise, the trainer assigned to her first session was Ayanda, the same stranger who had helped her after the accident. Ayanda recognized her immediately. "Hey, it's the brave woman from the roadside," he said warmly. During their conversation, Ayanda shared his own story of transformation. He revealed that he too had struggled with weight and self-esteem in the past. His vulnerability inspired Nandi to take her first step toward rebuilding her confidence. At work, Nandi began to assert herself subtly. She spoke up in meetings, volunteered for new responsibilities, and started contributing ideas that her colleagues couldn't ignore. Lunga, noticing the change, began to engage her more frequently, intrigued by her newfound confidence. Nandi's first gym session was humbling. She struggled through basic exercises and felt self-conscious among the confident, athletic people around her. But Ayanda's encouragement kept her going. "It's not about where you start," he told her. "It's about where you're heading." Outside the gym, Nandi doubted herself. She wondered if she was making a mistake, but a voice inside her, Gogononle's voice, reminded her, "Strength is in what you endure and conquer." She decided to persevere. Nandi began attending regularly, finding joy in small victories. Ayanda became her biggest cheerleader, pushing her to discover strengths she never knew she had. Simultaneously, she started journaling her feelings, a practice she found surprisingly therapeutic. Through her journaling, Nandi uncovered dreams she had long buried. One of them was her love for writing, a passion she abandoned after years of self-doubt. She began jotting down ideas for a blog, though she wasn't ready to share them yet. At a women's empowerment group she joined, Nandi met Zanele Mbata, a fiery motivational speaker. Zanele challenged her to think beyond her physical transformation. "What do you want out of life, Nandi? Not what others want. What do you want?" Back at work, her newfound confidence began to shine. When a key project needed a leader, Nandi stepped up. Her colleagues, including Lunga, were surprised by her assertiveness, but her contributions proved invaluable. Lunga started seeing her in a new light, not just as his assistant, but as a capable and intriguing individual. Months passed, and Nandi's efforts began to pay off, not just in the gym, but in every aspect of her life. She felt more energetic, her clothes fit better, and she carried herself with a newfound pride. But the biggest change wasn't visible on the outside. It was the way she started seeing herself. At one of her gym sessions, Ayanda suggested she join a 5-kilometer charity run. "You've been working hard. This will be a celebration of everything you've achieved," he said. Nandi hesitated, unsure if she could do it, but Ayanda reminded her, "It's not about how fast you finish. It's about crossing the finish line." Encouraged by Ayanda, Zanele, and her new friends from the empowerment group, Nandi signed up. The run was transformative. As she crossed the finish line, tears of pride streamed down her face. For the first time in years, she felt truly powerful. Not long after the run, Nandi received a message from Sianda. He had seen photos of her on social media, shared by mutual acquaintances, and couldn't believe how much she'd changed. His tone was friendly, but there was an unmistakable note of curiosity. He invited her for coffee, claiming he wanted to catch up. Nandi, curious but cautious, agreed to meet him. When they met, Sianda was full of compliments. He apologized for his behavior in school, admitting he had been immature and insecure. He even hinted at a romantic interest, suggesting that they start fresh. Nandi listened calmly, her heart steady. The younger Nandi might have been thrilled, but now she saw through Sianda's superficial interest. She politely but firmly told him she was happy with her life and had no desire to revisit the past. Sianda was taken aback, unused to rejection, but Nandi felt nothing but relief. At work, Lunga continued to grow closer to Nandi. He began seeking her opinion on important matters and even invited her for coffee after hours. For a moment, Nandi wondered if this was what she had once dreamed of. But as she watched him, she realized something. Lunga's interest wasn't rooted in genuine respect or admiration. He was drawn to her transformation, not her essence. One evening, after a long meeting, Lunga surprised her with a confession. "Nandi," he said, his voice unusually soft, "I've realized how much I've overlooked you. You're incredible, and I'd like to take you to dinner." The younger Nandi might have been overjoyed, but now she saw the cracks in his facade. She smiled politely and said, "Thank you, Lunga, but I don't think that's a good idea." Lunga was stunned. "Why?" he asked, visibly hurt. "Because you didn't see my worth before," she said simply, "and I deserve someone who values me for who I've always been, not just who I've become." Nandi had been quietly working on her blog, documenting her journey of self-discovery. When she finally published her first post, the response was overwhelming. Women from all walks of life reached out, sharing their own struggles and thanking her for her honesty. Her blog quickly gained traction, attracting attention from media outlets. Ayanda, proud of her success, suggested they organize a fitness and wellness event for women. Together with Zanele, they planned a day of workshops, workouts, and motivational talks celebrating strength and resilience. At the event, Nandi met a woman who revealed she had once been ridiculed by Sianda's girlfriend. "Your blog gave me the courage to leave that toxic relationship," she told Nandi, tears in her eyes. The moment was profoundly moving for Nandi. For the first time, she saw the ripple effect of her courage. As her blog grew, Nandi began to reevaluate her life goals. Inspired by Zanele and the empowerment group, she decided to leave her receptionist job to focus on writing and public speaking. The decision wasn't easy. She worried about financial stability and whether she was ready for such a big leap. But with encouragement from Ayanda, Zanele, and her readers, she took the plunge. Her blog became a full-time endeavor, and she started writing her memoir, Breaking Free, chronicling her journey of transformation. During this time, Lunga made one final attempt to win her over, sending her flowers and a handwritten note. Nandi appreciated the gesture but remained firm. "You've been kind, Lunga," she wrote in response, "but I've learned that kindness without respect is not enough." At one of her speaking engagements, Nandi met Themba Mthembu, a journalist who interviewed her for a major South African publication. Themba was captivated by her story, but more importantly, he respected her resilience and determination. Unlike the men of her past, Themba didn't try to charm her with empty compliments. Instead, he listened intently, asking thoughtful questions about her journey and her goals. Over time, their professional relationship evolved into a friendship and then into something more. Nandi's memoir, Breaking Free, became a bestseller, inspiring countless women across South Africa and beyond. Her speaking engagements took her to cities she'd only dreamed of visiting, from Cape Town to Johannesburg, where she addressed packed audiences. Zanele became her mentor, guiding her through the challenges of her newfound career. Ayanda remained a close friend and confidant, always reminding her of how far she'd come. Themba, too, became an important part of her life. Unlike Sianda or Lunga, Temba valued her for who she was, not just for her accomplishments. Together, they built a partnership rooted in mutual respect and shared values. Standing on stage at a sold-out conference in Johannesburg, Nandi looked out at the sea of faces. Women of all shapes, sizes, and backgrounds filled the room, each on their own path to self-discovery. As Nandi shared her story, she felt a deep sense of gratitude, not just for her journey, but for the chance to help others find their strength. Her life wasn't perfect, but it was hers. She was no longer defined by the opinions of others. She was strong, confident, and free. As the applause rose around her, Nandi smiled, knowing she had truly found her purpose. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey of resilience and transformation. Nandi's story reminds us all that true strength comes from within and that self-love is the foundation of a fulfilling life. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more empowering stories. Remember, your worth is never determined by others, only by you. Until next time, take care and keep believing in yourself.